Hey there, fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're here in Tazumal in El Salvador. This is actually the most important Mayan site they have here in El Salvador that they've uncovered, and it's fantastic. And it got me really learning a lot about the Mayan culture, and it helped me realize that there's another macro factor that companies have to think about when they're doing business. They have to think about the cultural factor of where they're going to go. For example, the Mayans here, when there was a new government, they would actually completely cover all the buildings from the old government and then build new buildings on top of that. So how would that influence that culture? Well, if you're in the building trades, that would be great because you get to build all the time. But if you're an artist, you're like, wait, my artwork is going to disappear when it gets covered over again. So people will be affected in different ways. And so we as businesses have to think about the cultures in the countries we're going to be working in. Because culture really is how groups kind of define themselves. If you think about all the different things that make up a culture, whether it's their language or religion or beliefs, these kind of things, you take that together and think, how is that going to influence how business works? Is it in terms of religion? Is it what day of the week are we closed? Is it Friday? Is it Saturday? Is it Sunday? Is it no days? Because religion isn't as important, we have to think about that because that will influence our business. Also, we might look at as how our product can identify with the culture that we're selling it in. So for example, here in El Salvador, there's so many really great fruits here. It's fantastic. And so companies like Coca-Cola, when they're making sodas for here in El Salvador, they realize that we need to have more fruity flavors. So there's actually a lot more kind of Fanta fruit flavors for soda choices here than there are in other countries, like in the US. Because if we think about how culture influences us, it could be the product offerings we have. It could be in the sizes we have or on order. I mean, think about it. In the US, you have a lot of 2XLs, 3XL shirts because of the culture. There's a lot bigger people, right? Whereas other places, you have smaller people. If you go to, for example, we were in Peru and we're walking around and I needed a new pair of shoes. There were no shoes my size that were there because in that culture, people did not have big size feet. And so you have these kind of things you have to think about. And we start looking at cultures. There are kind of two ways you look at it. One is a country culture and one is a regional culture. So a country culture, we want to take into account the overall country's culture that's there. That's where maybe religion comes in or things like that. So McDonald's, they have to take into account that cows are sacred animals in India. So they don't have hamburgers there. They have more chicken things. Just like you wouldn't have a McJesus burger in the US, you wouldn't have a beef burger in India. And so we take that into account. Or maybe you want to look at toothpaste. I mean, one of the things that's fun is we go around the world, we find different flavors of toothpaste depending where we go, and you'll see some places they like spicy toothpastes, some places like minty freshness, other ones think if it doesn't taste like medicine, it must be just candy and it makes your teeth even worse. And so companies have to know how that culture feels about their toothpaste because that will influence things as well. And when we start looking at regional cultures, we're starting to focus down in smaller parts. So for example, if you're in a university town, you know that every single store is going to have that university colors, whether it's orange and blue or scarlet and gold or silver and black or whatever. They have those university colors, and so they're going to focus on their university. That's why if you're in a university town, I'm going to guess there's some kind of like University Street or University Avenue, and there's going to be like some kind of University Hall, and it's going to be the University Pub or something that relates to that, because in that region, that's what the important thing of their culture is. Another thing you might look at in terms of product offerings in the US, in the South, you have a lot more sweet tea. That's what they have on offer. If you go to other parts, like where we live in Illinois, you ask for sweet tea, they're like, oh, we have normal tea and some sugar, and I'm like, oh, bless your heart, that is not the same thing. And we realize is each one of these different regions within the country might have its own thing. But my favorite regional difference to talk about when I go to the US, I ask you in the comments below, what do you call soda? Do you call it soda? Do you call it pop? Do you call it soda pop? Do you call it sody pop? Do you just call it Coke and then you order a Sprite after you order a Coke? That's a regional difference. So think about a company like McDonald's. Do they say, here's our sodas, here's our pops, here's our, what do we do? What do they say? Here's our beverages, okay? So you want to kind of think about those things. Whereas if it's a store that wants to really be known by its region, well, hey, if we're going to be a real southern store, we're going to say we have Coke, and then you can choose what kind of Coke you want. Do you want Sprite? Do you want Fanta? Do you want Coke? These kind of things. Because the thing is, culture can have a really great influence on your business, but you need to know about that culture because it's going to affect you in a lot of different ways. In your product offerings, how you advertise, the size, the designs, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, I want to say bye from here in El Salvador, a fantastic place to visit. Really loved it, and I'm enjoying the culture here and can't wait to have some more of those tasty, different fruity flavors of Fanta. Bye from El Salvador.